Hey everybody, my name is James. I am a video production specialist here at Video Guys. It is Tuesday. It is about 3 o'clock Eastern, which means it is time for another Video Guys Live. And today we have some exciting news to announce that the BirdDog KBD Controller is in stock and available at Video Guys. And we are also excited to have Christian Frink join us from BirdDog to talk about the KBD Controller. Hey Christian, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty great. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here and talk about the brand new KBD, which has kind of been, my life for the past few months, and to, be able to show, kind of embody our new Bird Dog 2.0 mantra that, when we're shipping a product, that it's here and it's real and it works.
Well, I can confirm it is here, it is real, and it does work. So let's get right into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the KBD controller now that it is in stock and available?
Yeah, we really tried with the KBD to take into consideration what we've done before. And we really looked at a lot of feedback that we had gotten from our previous PTZ keyboard and really tried to bake into what it's like being an end user with a controller and what does somebody really want day to day to be able to not be annoyed running a production.
All right.
So
Yep.
from comfort into the angle that we built the KBD onto, the little silicone pad that you see on the side next to the joystick. So that way, when you have your hand there and you're moving the joystick around, that way it's comfortable. You can sit here and kind of run a show, day to day, and you're not exhausted. Your hands aren't achy. It's kind of like having an ergonomic keyboard, but with a joystick.
No, I noticed that right away too, as soon as I opened it out of the box, and my hand just so perfectly places right on that pad too. And I even like that the screen on it, which we will talk about in a little bit
Yeah.
here, is that's angled up too. So you're not looking flat down at it; it's angled up at you, which is a nice little touch. One of the things that I also noticed right out of the box when I started setting up the camera, the controller, and connecting a couple cameras to it is these buttons have a very nice clicky and responsive, um, tactile feel to them. You want to talk about some of the button features and the one press conveniences?
Yeah, absolutely. The sound responsive is one thing, but a whole other thing that I really like is that the buttons will light up when you're using it. So one of the things that I think our users will get the most out of is these cam 1 through 6 buttons, which act as like preset recall for your cameras 1 through 6. And so if I just press, my camera 5, and my camera 5 will light up, so I know I'm controlling camera 5. And also pressing these buttons in different ways will take us between different views on our display. So if I press again, it'll take me to my camera view, and I press back again and it takes me back to my multi-view. So every buttons have more than one function.
Okay, and that's great. And since we're talking about that multi-view, well, let's talk about that. That is something that is new and unique and very good for the end user to be able to have a preview right on the controller without having to look at their switcher or whatever other system they are doing their mixing on. The camera operator can just look at their screen and you can have either four cameras being displayed or the full screen of one camera. So you want to talk a little bit more about that multi-viewer?
Yeah, so with the multi-view, you can bring in a live video preview of any camera that has an NDI HX2 or HX3 feed, or connect it via RTSP. And you can configure it in the web UI of what four cameras you want. It'll default to the first four sources that you add, but you can really be pretty dynamic with what you're doing. And like you saw in that little picture that we have on that slideshow, is it'll even tie into our NDI tally light. So you see a little program preview border and it's it's really helpful as an end user to be able to know what what you're looking at live and how to set up your shots ahead of time.
I couldn't agree more. Sometimes when we've had controllers in here, just being able to have even a lower resolution, just to make sure that your framing is proper, you're smooth when you're moving the cameras. I think having that multi-viewer on there is great. And still speaking about the multi-viewer a little bit more, there's some customization that you can do on that screen. And I am a big fan of the daytime or night owl feature. I am 100% dark mode in all uses on my phone, on my computer, and to have that on the controller is just another great feature. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about that and some more of the API?
Yeah, I can even show you really quick. So here, just in the system set on the menu of the KBD, if I just toggle down real quick to this dark mode user interface, I can use the joystick button as my little enter to check that box, come down, press save using the same button, and then just like that, I'm in dark mode for everything in the UI on the KBD, and it's just a lot easier. So if you're in a really dark production setting, uh, the bright screen on the KBD isn't going to blow you out. And if you're doing a show outside and you really need to see it, you can switch it over to, the white background and be able to see it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I agree completely. Oh, I skipped the slide. Okay, now we already mentioned this a little bit that you have the integrated tally borders on your multi-viewer display, but something that we were talking about beforehand is the super fine control mode. Can you tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about that and how to activate it?
Yeah. So what that's going to do is it's going to take your control speed of the camera and ramp it down 10 times. And so what I can do is if we take a look at my keyboard here, so when I'm moving, I just am kind of whipping around here pretty quickly. If I hold the shift button, it's going to activate that superfine control. And you'll see it's a lot slower. So even if I crank all the way over to the left, it's still just moving at a snail's pace. Take it off immediately. I ramp up my speed. And now I've activated in the web UI a joystick control function. And I've changed it over to superfine. So what that does is if I press the joystick button now, it turns that superfine control on. So I no longer have to just hold that shift button. So if I want to be able to zoom at the same time with my other hand, I can do that. So it really focuses on what the user is doing so that you can have a more dynamic show
No, I
and
to- I totally
not
agree.
really be a burden for you.
I think being able to switch it that easily is what makes it super convenient. You do have your 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 dials on the top left of the controller to be able to control your pan and tilt speed and your zoom speed. But being able to quickly go from maybe let's say like a 7 or 8 on your speed down to
Yeah.
super fine. Again, just giving the end user that control and that option to be able to quickly switch between them is great. Um, Next is your ultimate connectivity. Now, there are tons of different ways that you can have cameras be connected and controlled by the KBD controller, including NDI, Visca, OnVIF, RS232, and RS422. You want to talk a little bit about that connectivity range?
I think it kind of speaks for itself. Like it ties into everything that we've thought of with this controller, and that it'll really fit into whatever type of production space you're looking for. Even if you're looking to almost future-proof yourself a little bit going forward, if you have a RS232 set up now, the KBD will fit into it. And if you want to scale up to NDI control or OnVIF control going forward, this unit will fit into that setup no matter what type of control you're looking for.
And I think that's great to talk about that. Even if you're not using an NDI workflow, if you're using a PTZ camera and it has either HDMI or SDI out, and that's what you're using for your switcher, you can still use IP control or baseband control with RS232 on the KBD controller. And then if you do switch to an NDI system, Well, now you can have a fully NDI operational keyboard and fully operational NDI camera. So I think that's great. Now, this I wanted to throw in here because it just shows, again, some of that versatility with the KBD controller. Can you kind of just walk us through this workflow diagram here?
Yeah. So what's really cool, what I really want to tie attention to is the NDI router that's on the screen there in the bottom middle that's connecting to the play. Because what the KBD can do is it can actually output its own router feed. So whatever its source it's controlling. So if you are uh, controlling an X1 or an X4 or an X5, whatever you're controlling actively on the KBD will be as an output through that NDI router. So if you want to have just a larger preview screen, you can set that up with using a play to decode just the NDI router to an HD to a monitor via the play, like we have in this workflow, to be able to just see what you're controlling actively if you want to use the display on the KBD for something else. But we have a lot of people that are, piping in multiple cameras into something like a TriCaster or vMix, and then controlling directly with the KBD, and you'll get the tally lights just like you do in those programs existing, and you'll be able to see that directly on the KBD. And then also being able to change your source on the KBD with an API command. That's a really powerful feature that we've baked in as well. So really, regardless of what type of workflow you have, this controller will fit into it smoothly.
I think that you said that so well. I don't even really have much to comment on that. It fits in every workflow, and BirdDog is known for that. Now, of course, the KBD controller is in stock and it is available at Video Guys. It costs just under $1,300, $1,295. But the folks at BirdDog have put together a couple different bundles and combos. So let's break down how those bundles and combos work, starting off with the X1 bundle and the X1 Ultra bundle, which would give you three cameras and the controller at a discounted price. But then you also get a very nice carrying case. Now, with these bundles, you cannot separate them. They're going to be coming pre-configured in this bundle. Would you like to talk a little bit about the X1 and the X1 Ultra for those that may not know what those cameras are?
Yeah, the X1 and the X1 Ultra are kind of the bread and butter of our X series line. So the X1 is going to be a 1080p 60 camera that has a built-in NDI-HX decoder as well. Like most of our cameras, it and the X1 Ultra have secondary encoders in it as well. So if you want to output RTSP or SRT, and not an NDI feed, you can do that. And they also both have a UVC option available via a USB-C. And the X1 Ultra is a camera that we have that'll go up to 4K 30.
Okay, great. And so again, these bundles are available. They are not able to be separated, but you do again get either three X1s and a KBD controller or three X1 Ultras and a KBD controller at a discounted price. Now, next is what BirdDog is calling a combo, and these can be switched out, at least in terms of color. You can mix and match the colors. And so the first combo is the X4 Ultra. And with this, if you get three cameras, you actually get the KBD controller for free. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the X4 Ultra and what makes it stand out?
I think it's hard to not stand out when you're the X4 because not only is it a 4K 60 NDI-HX camera, but it also has a built-in lithium-ion battery for up to 6 hours of wireless use. It introduces a 3G SDI output in addition to its HDMI. And those giant antennas on the back are because it has Wi-Fi 6 MIMO Wi-Fi that's really powerful and really dynamic. And I think it's really hard to not find a workflow that it fits into.
So you're telling me that with these X4s, you can operate them completely wirelessly because they have both a battery and Wi-Fi antennas for wireless NDI-HX connectivity, right?
100%.
And I think that that is not spoken enough about. I think that is great, especially for people that are going to be doing kind of run and gun and, taking these cameras out into, a little bit more remote areas. They're not going to be in these permanent buildings. I see these working really well in like sports applications. That battery is long enough to play most sports games
Mhm.
and not have to worry about the battery dying before the game ends. So I think this is a great combo to be looking at. The last combo is the X5 Ultra combo, which again would be three X5 Ultras, and then you would get the KBD controller for free. And again, you can mix and match the colors of the cameras. You want to tell us a little bit about the X5 Ultra?
The X5 is kind of the best of everything that we've covered to this point. While it doesn't have Wi-Fi and it doesn't have a battery, it does have a built-in HX decoder, but it doesn't just have one HDMI out, it has two. So if you wanted to have an HDMI out as a decoder and then be able to HDMI out the direct feed of the camera, you can do that. But also what a lot of people love, and I do myself, is it still has a 12G SDI output. So if you want to future-proof yourself, like we talked about with the KBD itself, the X5 fits into a lot of traditional SDI environments, but it brings you that NDI HX3 compatibility to really be able to future-proof yourself and to fit into your existing NDI environments.
I couldn't agree more. 12G SDI, HDMI, NDI, 4K 60. You can't go wrong with the BirdDog X5 Ultra combo. And so, of course, these bundles are available and combos are available. And the controller itself is available if you already have existing BirdDog cameras. You can purchase the KBD controller a la carte for $12.95. Now, Christian, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And as always, as our guest, I would like to give you the final words. If you would like to say anything, maybe about NAB that's coming up, um, don't say something that would get you in trouble, though. So I will leave it to you.
What I can say about NAB is that we have a lot of really exciting stuff. It's going to be a really packed show in the Bird Dog booth, and we're really excited what we have to show. And with a lot of our new products, like the KBD, we've done some pretty in-depth videos on our YouTube channel, BirdDog TV, and breaking down individual features. I did an unboxing video. Our other product manager, CJ, has gone into like preset control and a couple of other features as well. So we have resources out there. And as always, if you need any additional help, our support team is always available at help@birddog.tv.
Okay, great. And so, like I said, thank you so much to Christian for joining us today. We will be live next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you have any questions about anything that we went over today, feel free to leave a comment down on Facebook or on YouTube, or give us a call at 800-323-2325. And again, thank you to Christian for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Video Guys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.